Hey folks, I'm Eleanor, this is My Kitten Reads, welcome back to the channel, and this is my February book haul, which is kind of large, but there's a reason for that. So, and it's a, reasonable reason. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and be really quick about this after my epic wrap up last week. So the first one, of course, is from the Our Crate that I received in February, and that is the Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert. So this is sort of a fairy tale-ish, don't go into the woods, it's dangerous kind of story, which I think my best friend really liked. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. So yeah, I hadn't heard about it before, but yeah, I do love fairy tale-ish kind of stuff. So there's that. Then I did get one book out of the library in February, and that is Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee. I've been hearing about this series for ages, mostly on Cece's channel, but it's a superhero series, a YA series, but it's really diverse. So it's, if I remember correctly, in a world where most towns now have superheroes. Our main characters, Jess, she has parents who are superheroes, but she doesn't appear to have any powers herself. But so she kind of finds a paid internship, which is going to be great, until it turns out to be the town's most heinous supervillain. So yeah, and I from memory, this has got plenty of queer representation. I think Jess might be bi. I think that's this one. So yeah, I haven't read it yet. It just won't take me long once I actually start. But I'm really looking forward to reading that. So that was my library pickup for February. The one book that I actually bought just because, and actually I had to order it in February and pick it up. Oh yeah, new Tamora PS. Hello people. Tempests and Slaughter, which is the first in the Maurier Chronicles, which is Maurier's backstory. Maurier is a character in some of her other Tortellin series, not a main character, but he's a fairly big character in the Immortals Quartet, and he does appear in some of the later series as well. So this is his backstory. I've only read 3 chapters so far. It starts when he is 10 years old and is starting to learn about his magical powers, his magical gift. I haven't actually picked it up since I started it because I'm trying to wrap my head around a few things, because I'm not used to Tamora Pierce writing about men in Tortle, and there are characters in this that it's a struggle to actually wrap my head around the fact that they're not evil, because I'm used to them being evil, but this is their backstory. So yeah, but yeah, new Tamora Pierce, couldn't resist it. But the rest of the books, this massive stack, are all because I have a new subject. I'm back at uni and I'm studying English, and I'm studying Gothic literature, and there is a book a week pretty much. So there's a text a week for Gothic literature. I already had some of them. I've already read some of them. But yeah, so I managed to acquire most of them secondhand. There's a couple that I had to buy new, and in fact the first book on the rank that we had to read, I actually had to end up ordering it because 4 bookshops in Canberra and I could not find it for the life of me. And that is this one, which I ordered online, and it is Horace Walpole's The Castle of Otranto, which is considered the first Gothic novel. It's only about 100 pages long. The book actually looks bigger because there's some like other material in it as well. But this is basically the first Gothic novel. It was written in the 1700s, I think. And it's the story of Manfred, who is obsessed with holding on to his castle and his lordship, and his heir, Conrad, his son, is about to marry the lovely Isabella when he dies in supernatural circumstances, and shenanigans ensue with Manfred desperate to keep his family in charge of the castle, and various supernatural forces and various, yeah, it's so bizarre and so sort of bemusedly amusing. So that is The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. The one I am currently reading, because it is next week's text, is The Monk by Matthew Gregory. This is another Gothic novel. Most of these will be Gothic novels. So this one is set in Spain. There seems to be, so far, a couple of different storylines. It's very sensational. There is Ambrosio, the monk, the abbot, who is of irreproachable holiness, but various shenanigans start happening within the monastery. And there's also, these noblemen who are also starting to get embroiled in shenanigans. There are, of course, women embroiled in shenanigans. It's very lurid. So, again, I'm reading it sort of amusedly bemused at I can't believe this is happening on kind of a thing. But yeah, that's The Monk. And here we come to the ones that I pretty much know nothing about. So this one is a pair of stories by Henry James, The Aspern Papers and The Turn of the Screw. The Turn of the Screw is the one that I'm supposed to read for class, so I may only read that one. It says, in the story of a governess newly in charge of 2 small children haunted by ghosts, our imagination is miraculously set free to conjure up terrors never precisely named or explained. That's The Turn of the Screw. So that's Henry James. Then I have Mary Elizabeth Braddon, Lady Audley's Secret. I have actually heard of this. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. So on the back it says, a contemporary theories of insanity to probe mid-Victorian anxiety and the doubts that accompanied the rapid rise of consumer culture. What is the mystery surrounding Mary Elizabeth Braddon's artful and charming heroine? Lady Audley's Secret is investigated by Robert Audley, aristocrat turned detective, in a novel that has lost none of its power to disturb and entertain. So that tells me almost nothing, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one, I think, because it's one of the very few women on the list. There's that. Dracula by Bram Stoker. I have read this. It was many years ago, probably over a decade ago, when I was at uni maybe. I don't remember liking it all that much, but of course everyone is pretty familiar. It's the classic vampire story. So that is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I also have Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep. So this is, I believe, a mystery story. It's a Philip Marlowe mystery. Los Angeles PI Philip Marlowe is working for the Sternwood family. Old man Sternwood, crippled and wheelchair-bound, is being given the squeeze by a blackmailer, and he wants Marlowe to make the problem go away. But with Sternwood's 2 wild, devil-may-care daughters prowling LA's seedy back streets, Marlowe's got his work cut out, and that's before he stumbles over his first corpse. So this is a mystery novel from the 20th century. I believe we have it because thrillers, I believe, are considered sort of part of the Gothic by academia. So that doesn't look very long, and I do like my mystery stories. And I've never read a Raymond Chandler, so that should be very interesting. This one I did have to purchase new, and this is Daphne Demario Jamaica Inn. Again, I've got almost no idea what it's about. It's Daphne Demario. I've heard the name. I've never read any of her work. So on the back, it says, after the death of her mother, Mary Yallan crosses the windswept Cornish moors to Jamaica Inn, the home of her Aunt Patience. Now, isn't that a lovely name, Aunt Patience? There she finds Patience, a changed woman, downtrodden by her domineering, vicious husband, Jos Merlin. Mary discovers that the inn is a front for a lawless gang of criminals and is unwillingly dragged into their dangerous world of smuggling and murder. Sounds interesting. Despite herself, she becomes powerfully attracted to a man she dares not trust, Jos Merlin's brother. Before long, Mary will be forced to cross her own moral line to save herself. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a Gothic novel, and I actually really like that cover. That's a really nice cover, so I'm glad I picked up this edition. So I'm kind of looking forward to that again. Again, one of the few, I think only 3 women, because of course we're also studying Northanger Abbey, which I already own, and we're also studying Hound of the Baskervilles, which is one of the Sherlock Holmes novels, which of course I already own. So that's that. And then the final text, because there's also a movie, which I'm going to try and avoid watching because it's Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, and I'm probably not going to cope well with it. But the final text that I bought is Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher and Other Writings. Now, I'm not sure which Poe stories we're actually going to read. There wasn't actually a set text listed. It just said on the list before that I had going into the subject, Edgar Allan Poe. But I figure this is the Penguin edition, Penguin Classics edition, and I figure it's likely to have something in it that we are likely to be reading. So I acquired it because it was secondhand. And so I thought I may as well, because it's a good chance it'll have something that we were looking at. So there's that. And those are the books that I acquired in February. So technically I bought more than I read, because I did read 10 books. There are definitely more than 10 books on that pile, but they're mostly university ones, when one's a library book. So technically I only acquired 2 books for the actual physical TBR shelf. So the rest of them, like I said, either library or for uni, which doesn't really count because I'm going to have to read them in the next 3 months anyway. So yeah, that was my book haul for February 2018. Let me know if you've read any of them, particularly if you've read any of the ones that I'm studying and what you can tell me about them, but don't spoil them for me still. If you like them, if you don't like them, and yeah, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.